season.
You're listening to Arkansas Preps Weekly on Natural State Sports, your top source for the biggest news in high school sports across Arkansas.
And here we go.
And welcome to Arkansas Preps Weekly. Our summer podcast series comes to an end. And what better way to end it this summer with the two-time Gatorade Player of the Year, Slade Caldwell from Valley View. Welcome, buddy.
How's it going?
It's going good. I'm sorry. We'll get your name spelled right on there before we produce this, I promise.
All right.
It happens. So, man, looks like you're in a dorm room there. Exactly where are you at there?
Oh, I'm in Oxford right now.
In Oxford. I know that gets some Ole Miss. We have some Ole Miss fans, so this is more than just a Arkansas Razorback podcast or anything like that. We're man of the people, for the people. I don't care where you go to school. It's all about getting kids to the next level. But, man, thanks for coming on. We know you got a big week ahead of you, and I know I'll be up this weekend in Jonesboro to see you and go through a process that not many people get to go through. And, you know, I really kind of want to start back when you were about 14 or 15, and we'll go all the way through. So you have always been a spark plug, a firecracker, as long as I've known you. But talk about your work ethic and how you started with baseball, knowing that you wanted it to take you as far as you could in life.
Yeah, I think it would start with me playing football through high school too. Just having that, nose on the grindstone and just always coming to, the field or coming to the football field, just having to get out there and grind. And I think that really takes my mindset to the next level, is playing multiple sports.
And football, of course, was a big running back, of course, number 3, if I'm not mistaken. That was correct. Okay.
Yes,
it hurt you last year not being able to play, didn't it?
Yes, sir. A lot.
Yeah, and, Valley View, of course, they had a lot of accolades going into the season last year, possibly national or state title contender, got pretty far in the playoffs. But just not being able to play, how did that help you with your leadership abilities, and how it helped you enhance those from that aspect?
Yeah, definitely not being able to, go out on the field and compete, let me grow on my leadership as far as, getting water bottles for people and just staying on the sidelines and motivating, our quarterback, Carson Turley, and motivating those younger running backs as well.
Let's go back to 14, 15-year-old year. That's right about the time the schools really started calling on you. And I know Ole Miss was the first to get on you. Talk a little bit about the recruiting. And back when you were 14, 15, it was still, recruit early. You could recruit 8th, 9th graders and get them to commit. So talk a little bit about, the relationship you built with Coach Bianco and the staff there at Ole Miss.
Yeah, actually, Ole Miss was one of the later ones to roll around.
Were they? Okay.
Yeah, they were one of the later ones, but I've always been around Mississippi, playing baseball over here in Oxford, playing in Jackson, playing in South Haven. So I could say I've been, more of an Oxford kid than an Arkansas kid, being in the Northeast area and not going over to the west side of the state, playing in Fayetteville and the Rogers and those type of travel ball tournaments. So I just always been across the Mississippi River. Yeah.
And you played for BPA, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right, tell everybody what BPA stands for.
Honestly, right now I couldn't even tell you.
I honestly couldn't either. So a couple of BPA alums, I know first base slugger from Ole Miss that got drafted, Kent Alderman.
Yep.
Kemp Alderman. Yeah, Kemp was a stud. He was part of that 2020 group that came through. Caden Wallace, played against them. And Kemp is a BPA alum as well. So really good program. They're based out of California, though, but they have a Mississippi presence, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so for all the fans out there wondering why Slade was playing for a travel ball organization in California, they've always had a good presence in Mississippi and Northeast Arkansas. I know that.
If you want to know a couple other players, they got Jared Jones that's pitching for the Pirates.
That's not bad, yeah.
And they have Brooks Lee that just got called up.
Yeah. Very, very reputable organization that's played on the national level. So, and now, correct me if I'm wrong, but you got to play for Team USA when you were 15?
I did, but it was also the COVID year, so I did make the team, but we didn't get to go play nationally.
Yeah, and then last year, of course, you were at Team USA camp, got in a rundown drill, and got stepped on. Is that right?
That is correct.
That's what led to the foot fracture and the cast and not being able to play football. So, but yeah, two-time Team USA, that's pretty big. Back when I was playing Team USA, training camp was in Millington, Tennessee, which is now where they have Perfect Game Mid-South, and they have a lot of events there. But now the team trains in Cary, North Carolina, which that's a really good location. But Ole Miss came in. I know Oklahoma State recruited you as well, right?
Yes, sir.
Arkansas came in kind of late after the fact.
They were the first ones, actually.
They're the first ones.
One of the first ones.
Okay. So what led – I know being in Oxford, being in that area and playing with a lot of kids from that area, just, what spoke to you about, Ole Miss over, two really good schools?
I would just say Oxford is relatively small college town, and it kind of feels like home for me. Being in Jonesboro is also a small college town with Arkansas State being there. And everybody knows everybody like Jonesboro. So just being able to be over there and know everybody and build those connections was really important for me.
Yeah, I went to school in Memphis, so we would go down to Oxford and hang out and stuff. So it's always really cool to grow, the experience. I know you got to go to a couple football games, right?
I did.
Recruiting visits. That's cool. So travel ball. Let's talk about travel ball for a minute. There's a lot of people out there that think travel ball just takes kids out of their element, especially in the high school level. But what you guys did at Valley View over the last 4 years, and with 2 state championships and being in the finals 4 times, talk about how travel ball and playing for BPA, really set you up for success in high school.
Definitely our coaches with Jared and Coach Russ here in Oxford, they just, you didn't get any reps off at all. Even if you did good, there was always something to, be fixed. So I would say the coaching style and coming into high school baseball, just trying to turn the program around with, trying to get back to the state championship with Coach Allison, and just that really competitive mindset and breaking everything down to, the little things and trying to win those.
So freshman year, you get to the state finals. You get to play Harrison. Talk a little bit about your freshman year and really, stepping into the program and, having the spotlight on you right away.
Yeah, I mean, my first game as a high school player, I struck out 3 times.
Yep.
So it was kind of, eye-opening for me. And then the next game, I talked to Sam Fagan, who graduated from Valley View and
went to Arkansas State, right?
He did. He went to Arkansas State out of high school, and he kind of just, calmed me down and told me that it's going to be like that and it's baseball. So the next game, really took that in consideration and played a lot looser and had a pretty decent game. And I was fortunate enough to be teammates with the starting shortstop at Arkansas State right now, Will French, and he was kind of our leader that year. So going under his wing and him taking some of the spotlight off me, being the senior leadership and the starting shortstop and the alpha wolf, we like to say.
Yeah, I'm a big Will French fan. I always have been ever since he came out of school, and started as a freshman up there, and he had to deal with some injuries this past year, and you could tell Arkansas State really missed him. So let's fast forward a little bit. You lose last year. You were on the mound. Now, we don't have to relive all that. Coach Allison told me before the state finals this year that, look, he still hasn't gone back and watched the game.
No, he hasn't watched any of them, not even the Harrison one.
Yeah, not even the Harrison one. Yeah, and I don't think I would have either, so to be honest with him. And I told him that. I was like, look, I wouldn't have gone back and watched it either. You lived it out. But the message he had for you guys after that game, I think, spoke volumes to looking at everything in a big picture. He told you guys that you're already winners. You're the best team in the state. No matter, you lost Little Rock Christian, they get it, but that was a 1-game setting. He told you guys, look, I still think you're the best team in the state. And that's not him being a coach. That's him telling you guys, you're the best team. I don't care what one game says. You put them in a 3-game set. I think Valley View wins 2 out of 3. Reese Torini pitched the game of his life. Jackson Kircher. Those guys are going to be successful, but I really believed in what Coach Allison said that night, and I really think it set y'all up for success going into 2024. You get some move-ins. You get Lance. You get Dax. You get Hossman coming in. That just added to what was already going to be a good team. So talk about from day one, as a leader, this is your last rodeo, going out on top. What was it like knowing that you guys could make history this year?
We knew we were going to be good, but I think our mindset going into that year was just to beat the crap out of every team. Yeah. We had one goal on our mind, and that was to get to the state championship and win it. And I don't think anybody was going to stop us. And those guys coming in was just like fuel to the fire. So Lance's mindset, he was going to get on the mound and compete. Hudson Hossman really surprised a lot of us. Him being, kind of the sneaky guy coming in and ended up hitting 10 home runs and breaking our school record. And we have Dax. Dax is also like, a copy of me, just another outfielder that gets great jumps on the ball and has elite contact skills. So, and we also had the returners like Owen Roach just going out there. And I think our outfield was definitely one of the best in the country, not the state.
Oh, no doubt. No doubt. And I've said that. And then you had Gartman at short. Drew's sneaky, man. I think he's going to be one that people look back on and be like, man, where did he come from?
Yep. Yeah. And then we had Ragsdale coming out, getting a double and a triple in the final game. And and we had Jay Taylor, and we also had Lawson coming back after the hamate injury. And then we also had Eli. So, everything just came together at the right time.
And the big thing, and a lot of people, they're like, oh, you can't put a team full of all-stars. They think too many egos would get in the way. You guys debunked that theory. And that's the one thing I talked about all year long is everybody knew their role. Dax came in. Dax was center fielder at Brooklyn. Everything comes in, has to move. He moved over to left, right? Correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. He moved over to left field. You had you leading off. Owen, who Coach Allison called the Slade protector, because Slade's going to get on base. Slade's going to steal second base. And Owen's probably he has to take strike one because it's auto take, right? And
usually the first 2 pitches. But we just had such a selfless team. Hudson Hossman coming in, either playing third or first, and Kason Becker really stepping up at third base. And he went against Little Rock Christian. He went home run left side of the box and right side of the box. So he started sparking up and everything. He was really good.
Yeah, and of course, everybody the first part of the year wasn't going to pitch to Slade, and it wasn't going to have. You didn't get a whole lot to hit, did you?
Not really.
Yeah. So I think 2 stories we'll talk about before we get to the draft. Taking BP at Southwest Sporting Goods Classic was something that that's an event that I'm a part of, and we wanted to get on-field BP because there's going to be a lot of scouts there. They want to see it. You had a good BP round, right?
I did.
You hit the train track a few times, right?
Yes, sir.
But that was the last thing on your mind was hitting in front of scouts, wasn't it?
No, that was the last thing. I just wanted to win.
You just wanted to win. You wanted to go out there and go 2-0 for the week, right?
Definitely, against some of the best arms in the state with Tag and Steele.
Yeah, so young guys, and this is for all the young baseball players out there, okay? Doesn't matter how far you get in this game. Having the team above yourself, the we before me aspect is what I wanted to get out of this, because Slade had an unbelievable batting practice round. You didn't hit a whole lot during that event, but you stole a couple bases, scored a few runs, kind of like you did in the state finals, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, so pitching was dominant. You faced Tag, you faced Steele. Those 2 guys are pretty good. They're going to be at the University of Arkansas this fall, right?
Yeah, I think Steele came out throwing like 93 and 40-degree weather, and Tag was also up to like 92, 94, and 30-degree weather. It was ridiculous.
That's not easy to hit in February.
No.
I don't care how good you are. It's not easy to hit. So, all right, so you go through the first part of the year, and we get to spring break. You come to Little Rock. You face Ray Peck. They're throwing a K-State commit. He's, 91, 92. First at-bat of the game, walk us through it.
First at-bat of the game, I knew we were going to face a pretty decent arm, and He's a lefty, so I think it was the first time I've seen a decent lefty all year. So I knew he was going to try to come out with like a high end fastball or anything like that. But I think he made a mistake on his part about like quick pitching. That was the pitch I hit a home run off of. So I'm a really quick. My feet are quick sometimes, so when he sped it up, I just speed up even more. So I just got the barrel to it at the top of the zone. And Robinson's not the deepest field, but I think I would have went out at any park. So.
Yeah, I think it went 405 if I remember right on TrackMan, and the ball was up too. It was about chest high.
Yeah, it was pretty up there. I just met it with the right plane of the bat, and it just went. So it felt pretty good.
And in talking about hitting, it's not really about getting an uppercut swing to get lift or get everything. It's about being on plane with the ball, right?
Yes, definitely getting that top hand there, the shortest path to the ball. Just you have more chance of getting base hits and hitting home runs when you get the barrel to the ball rather than getting around it or wrapping it. So just definitely trying to get the barrel to it at all times.
There you go. Slade Caldwell just proved that my launch angle hitting philosophy is not the best in the world. So there you go. Thanks, Slade. Okay, let's go to the second game. You guys played Catholic. I think second game. I don't know. But we're out there. The weather was kind of weird that day. It was like 60s. And, you faced two really good pitchers, Caleb Short, Asher Hamilton. They really kept y'all off
balance. Caleb Short has like a gyro changeup. It's probably one of the best changeups I've faced.
Yeah. So speaking of gyro, everybody think back to Kevin Kopps. For all of our listeners out there, viewers, Kevin Kopps had a gyro. So it's spinning on two axes. It's spinning like this, but it's also going down and away from you. Especially as a lefty, it's like seeing a left-handed curveball, right? Okay, so you get Caleb and Asher out of the game, and then I forget who they brought in, but first pitch, you took care of business, hit a home run. It was probably the most emotion I've seen you show hitting a baseball.
Yeah, that's first I knew he was gonna probably go first pitch off speed because that's what they usually started me off with all games. So I was ready to sit in that slider, and I got my pitch, and he left it up. So I got it out front, hit over the wall, and it just kind of emotion took over, I guess, because it was either going to be foul or a home run. So I was just kind of sitting there watching it, make sure it stayed fair, and then that one was probably like the one I had at Rogers, but that one actually went out. So.
All right, so now that you brought it up, I have to ask, and we'll talk to everybody about it. You guys went and played Rogers in Fayetteville over in Northwest Arkansas the week before the state tournament. It's something you did last year. Coach Allison wanted to play the best in the state, best in the region, and so you get over there at Rogers. And I was watching the game. I know you didn't get it as well as you thought it would. But talk about it. You kind of stared it down a little bit, but then turned it into a double. So talk a little bit about that.
Yeah, I got hanging down and in slider, so I just got the barrel to it. And it had the trajectory, but, of course, Rogers just 340 down the line. Yeah. And, I thought, it might have had a chance to wrap around the foul pole and get out. But the time of day, it just rained. We just got into about an hour rain delay. It was pretty thick air. And as it kept on going, I knew as soon as it hit the base of the wall, I was like, oh, I got to run. I can't just be standing at first base. So I just started booking at the second base, make sure I get an extra base hit out of that.
Yeah, so I mean, it's not like you don't stare down balls. You don't. That's not your personality or anything. But if you go 340 down the line, that's a pretty good shot. I mean, anybody. I haven't seen a home run hit out of there. I've coached 4 or 5 games there and covered a few, but it's just hard to get it out of that park. Rogers
the only
and Rogers
person
Heritage.
I've seen hit a home run there was last year, and Kason Becker hit one out to the left part of the field.
Yeah, I mean that's the only part you're going to get it out unless you have some wind behind you, which is really kind of hard to get wind. So, you guys have a great year going. You went 31-2. The 2 that you lost to Mag Heights on a weekend game. That look, y'all were out of pitching. Let's just live it up for what it is. Best on best, you guys beat Mag Heights. It was 3-1, 4-1. Lance threw against them, and it wasn't even close. So the Collierville game, you guys lose 2-1 in extra innings. You get called out on some ridiculous, and I can say this having umpired and been back there. They weren't strikes. They were on your shoelaces or they were in the other batter's box. I thought that was the biggest thing that I saw from you this year. It wasn't the accolades. It wasn't, picking your teammates up. It was how you responded in those two situations that proved your character.
Thank you.
And y'all lost 2-1 in extra innings, which I think 15 strikeouts for Valley View's team. And Coach Allison, I asked Coach Allison after the game, how many of those were caught looking? He's like, I don't even know. I don't care.
After the game, he was like, I know he was bad, but 15 strikeouts, taking, pitches down the middle, like early in counts, he said was unacceptable, which is, so we were really passive that game, knowing that we were coming in, to out-of-state game. And anytime you come to an out-of-state game, whether it be on the road or, just a tournament on the weekend or like a spring break tournament, the zone's going to be in favor of the other team. So, but yeah, I knew coming into that game that Collierville was going to have, somebody on their side behind the plate. And me getting called out on those, there's nothing you can do about it at that point. He calls a strike, it's a strike. So he's got to, walk back and, wear it. So, let coach deal with it.
That's right. And he did. He didn't say a whole lot. He told me, he said, I tried to get thrown out, but he wouldn't throw me out. So, that happens. So you guys get to the state tournament, you roll 3 games. You're facing against Maumelle, who you faced earlier in the year. Y'all thought, and I thought personally, that they would start Peyton, knowing that y'all had seen Tag, you'd seen Blaze before, but you get Tag. And we get up there to UCA. The first game on the first night gets postponed, Friday night. You guys were jacked up for that, and it gets postponed to Sunday. So what was going through your head at that moment? All right, well, the coronation's got to wait a couple of days. What did you guys do? How did you guys talk as a team to just keep that high for another 48 hours?
Definitely in the moment we were pretty mad that we couldn't just wait it out and play at like 10 o'clock because we were all still amped up to play. But, we were deciding whether we should stay another night or just go on home. And we ended up just going on home. And we just looked at it as, another day with the boys, another extended 48 hours with the team that, most teams don't get that opportunity to hang out with their teammates. So we were really fortunate, honestly, to be hanging out and spending time with each other for, last 2 days.
Yeah. So Lance comes out and deals, does his job. You go hitless, but you get on base 3 times. You set the state record for stolen bases in a career, 171, if I'm not mistaken. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
Grandpa kept up with all the stats 4 years, didn't he?
Oh, yeah.
Your mom sent that to me, and he was like, here you go. He didn't have anything else to do, and he wanted to keep up with them. So I got all the Slade stats in my phone now, so they'll be there forever, and it's awesome. So you set the state record. You scored 2 runs, and that was huge. When you scored the first 2, did you know at that point it's over?
Definitely, because how Lance was pitching. I mean, there was at one point we had the bases loaded, but I think he was so dialed in and ready to compete that it really didn't matter. So I know it was hot on the mound for both sides, but I just think we had the upper hand with, they came out wearing black jerseys, which, we came out wearing blue and white. So there's another advantage right there. And we also had Eli still left in the tank, another strike thrower. And just everything really came into place with us. Honestly, we could have scored 1 run and it would have been over with.
Yeah. Yeah, and that was the thought. And being on the call for the game, I was like, look, if they get 1, they got an 80% chance. If they get 2, I'd said it's at 99. So all that's fun. You get to win a state title. You got 2 now. High school's over with. Now it's what's next. So you've been at Ole Miss since June 24th, correct?
Yes, sir.
All right. Taking sociology. Is that right?
Yes, sir.
How's sociology going?
I was pretty good. We got our first little weekly final coming up this Sunday, so it's been pretty good. It's just an online class, and me and my roommate Owen Pano are in it together, so we're just working it out.
Yeah. So you've been working out, had some workouts in Jonesboro before you went to Oxford, right?
Yes, sir.
Did you get to face any good arms?
I did face Grant Wren a couple of times in live ABs.
Yeah. Grant's pretty good.
He's pretty good. He has the most vertical break on his fastball in the state right now, I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So vertical break for everybody out there. There's a plane where the ball is released, where it's expected to go. And then they measure the inverted vertical break. So anything over 20 is considered elite. Grant's around 21 and a half, if I'm not mistaken. So
basically where he releases the ball, it looks about two and a half balls above where it actually is.
Yeah. So it creates an optical illusion. That's what, when they say that a guy has ride late in the zone, it seems to take that extra hop.
Yeah, a lot of swing and miss on the fastball.
Yeah, Carson Wiggins has it. He's another one that's, in that 24 class that I'm sure you got to meet and know a little bit on the circuit last year with All American games. You're at Ole Miss, obviously, but the draft is coming up. Next Sunday starts. I'll be up in Jonesboro. Small gathering. We're not having a big party. That's what I've been told.
Not a big party, yeah.
Not a big party. Okay. So talk a little bit about the MLB Combine, what it was like going through that. We don't get to hear a lot about it, outside of what is shown on MLB.com and MLB Network. What was it like going through all that for you?
Yeah, on my side, I was doing a lot of meetings. I didn't do any of the running, the hitting, or anything like that. So, I got there Wednesday night. So we got our hotel room, we got some gear. They had a players' lounge that we all just hung out in. But yeah, I would go to the field and watch some of the athletic stuff and some of the training. But the meetings, they were 30 minutes each. So I think I had a schedule. I had 16 meetings in all within 5 days.
Yep.
So I had probably 5 meetings lined up one day, 4 the next, and like three one day. But it was just, you sit outside of a room like an interview and just wait in line for, your name to be called. And, it's like a background check basically. And it's pretty much just like speed dating.
Yeah, it's really what it is. It's a cattle call, and then they get speed dating. And, I've never sat in on those meetings. I've talked to scouts and know, really what, they're going through your background. They're just checking off. They're just going through their checklist and checking off everything because it's an investment that these teams are putting into their draft picks, right?
Definitely. You're not going to spend millions of dollars if you're not going to be a good human being on and off the field.
Yeah. So what was and you don't have to divulge what team or anything. What was the oddest question you were asked? Anything off the wall that was asked?
Not really. I mean, I got asked pretty much the same questions over and over again.
Yeah.
Just because, they're trying to, pick your brain about how you tick and, why baseball is important to you.
Yeah. You got to make some really good friendships over the past year or two. Connor Griffin, you two are pretty close, right?
Yes, sir.
Yep. Connor, of course, he was the Gatorade National Player of the Year out of Jackson Prep. How did he steal 87 bases?
That's a good question for me because I don't know. Just looking at that, it's just kind of just like, whoa, like I stole 51 and then him beating me by like 30, 36. But just props to him for all of his accolades he has, and he's worn it pretty well. He has, if you talk to him, he's just like a normal guy, just one of the nicest people I've ever met.
Yeah, and y'all have developed a good camaraderie. In competition, you developed some healthy competition between each other and everything. So, I think that's one of the really cool things that's come out of this event. So, all right, let's do some rapid fire real quick. Okay, favorite baseball team?
St. Louis Cardinals.
Okay, toughest pitcher you faced in high school?
Dylan Jordan from Florida.
Okay, toughest in-state that you faced?
Toughest in-state, probably Peyton Lee.
Peyton Lee, why?
He's like max effort, and he gets a lot of layback on his arm, and he's probably about 6'5", so it's pretty hard, and it gets on you quick, and the curveball's pretty mean.
Coolest place you've played at?
Probably Dodger Stadium.
Dream team. What is the dream team to pick you in a draft?
Any 32.
Do what?
Any 32.
Any 32. Great answer. And Slade, I greatly appreciate you coming on. You know, that this is something that, you know, I've obviously, and the guys at Natural State Sports, we've been following your journey and everything. And I'm excited to get to come up and go through the experience with you guys. No matter what happens next week, we're all pulling for you. The state of Arkansas is pulling for you. We're hoping and wishing you the best of success, you know, whether it's at Ole Miss next year or if it's, you know, in pro ball.
Yes, sir. I appreciate you. Thank you for having me on.
All right, buddy. Thanks a lot.
Thank you.
Cast edition of Arkansas Preps Weekly. We appreciate everybody joining in, and we will see you next time.